NewGenGamers.com.
Oh, snap.
Ah.
Now, when this happened in the game, this was very... I mean, once you're into this game so far, this impacts you like you would not believe. As you can tell from the Metroid series has always been atmospheric and creepy in a lot of senses.
Definitely creepy.
Oh, yeah. And I like this part of the game, too, because you got enemies from the first game who are obviously, you know, deteriorating, festering away. And Torian here, which is the last part of the game.
So this is where you actually were in the original game, as Samus.
Yeah.
So that's a really cool throwback and really cool way to bring the series up to date. You know, this was one that fans had requested, and it took them a while to get done.
And so much to be said. I mean, you could say the same about the Metroid Prime
Absolutely.
for the GameCube, because it skipped an entire generation of the 64.
Well, this has always been kind of a dark horse series for Nintendo. It's not as popular as their other series, but every game is stupendous, and I think a lot of it, as we've discussed before, had to do with the Japanese not digging it.
And the
Yeah.
creator, who created it, was it
Gunpei Yokoi, creator of the Game Boy and creator of pretty much all of Nintendo's hardware, and kind of bastard child of Nintendo, it seems. He didn't get regarded a lot of times the way he should have, and so this, I'm not sure if this was his direct game design, but the original Metroid was for sure.
Now, with this game, they did a lot with expanding the story. Like, the original Metroid didn't have much for story. It had that little opening at the beginning. But this one really kind of delved you into the universe.
Mm-hmm. And without really saying much in words, I mean, the beginning is the opening monologue is pretty much the only thing that had words to it. The rest is gameplay based, but it's so in depth that you feel like you're playing along, you are the character, and that's where the story comes from. Now you'll see that the final boss is Mother Brain yet again, because you're playing on the same planet as the first game is based. And there she is.
I always thought the
this is
Mother
the
Brain
final
was
boss.
an interesting enemy.
I always thought it was funny because in the cartoon series, Captain and the Game Master, the Mother Brain was the enemy.
Yes, let's
Yeah.
throw that out. Captain N
And
the Game Master. Or the Game Master. That was it was a terrible cartoon, but if you were a child that loved Nintendo games, it was a great cartoon.
Absolutely.
Well, so wasn't The Legend of Zelda. You remember that cartoon was absolutely horrid, but watching it, you'd look forward to it every Friday.
When I was 6 years old, man, I would get up early on Friday for that reason.
I hope no one got a seizure from that. That was intense.
Yeah.
That was pretty interesting.
Now look at this creepy brain sitting here.
Whoop, don't touch it.
Something's happening. Now this was a surprise to me, having played through the first game many times, when the Mother Brain suddenly came to life as this T-Rex dragon monster that should have been in Jurassic Park. Maybe it'll be in Jurassic Park 4, I don't know.
Now, something I want to mention here is the sheer size of Mother Brain. Super Nintendo really introduced the oversized boss.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, there was a lot of scaling and rotating features that the Super NES could do that previous consoles couldn't do, and it really brought home that arcade feel.
And just the music of this, it feels very dramatic.
Yes, this of course using the SPC 700 sound chip that Sony designed and sold to Nintendo, which ties a lot in with the Super Nintendo's lore, and we'll get into. And this game really showed off basically every hardware bell and whistle that the Super NES had.
Here we go.
Did it have Mode 7 in it?
This game, I don't believe it did actually.
This was the only one of the few that, the only thing it didn't show off was Mode 7, but we'll get more into that when we get to Star Fox, because that was one that really was the graphical
And this
3D
game,
powerhouse for
it
the
really
system.
pushes it even without Mode 7, as you can tell. Like this part right here, watch this.
Oh, sprite! This is one of the best sprite-based games.
Oh man.
Yeah, this was a 32, I don't know what they called it, M-bit cartridges.
Megabyte?
Yeah, they're not, it's not the same as megabytes. They add it up differently. It's a different calculation. But as far as size for a Super NES game, I believe this was the largest.
Ah!
Okay, now tell us what's happening here, Duck.
This is part of the storyline where you save this baby Metroid in the second game. It follows you. Now they're testing it. The space pirates are testing it. It finds you and it feels that it's your mother, I believe. And that's what I gather from the game as it progressed. And it has came in to save me at the last moment. Now this goes with the storytelling aspect, you know. This was unexpected, and it's really a cool twist. Now it's sucking all the energy out of Mother Brain, as you can tell, and it'll come over and give it to me, which is a really cool twist, like I said before. And it's just, I don't know, it's fun.
Oh,
and you'll
wow.
see that I get the ultimate gun here after it's done filling me back up with energy. As you can see, the Mother Brain's coming back to life. And hopefully I can defeat this giant creature.
So, you know, as we said, this wasn't as big in Japan, and I'm not quite sure why. You know, they love games like this. You know, it's a little bit darker than a lot of their stuff, perhaps, but still, I don't...
People, they would love the sci-fi aspect,
yeah,
I would think.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why this never took off like it did in America.
Well, speaking of the Metroid series, just in general, it's based mainly off of the Alien movie that Ridley Scott and James Cameron did in the early 80s. And they took that as a starting place. That's why the hero is a female.
Yeah, and that's really interesting and really cool that they brought that to a video game. And, of course, in the original Metroid, that was kind of the big revelation at the end of the game was that she was a female. I mean, females can't save the world. What?
Yeah, dear Lord.
You know, at the time that was
sexist. But no, that is what it was. It was like
from sexist Japan. That was very interesting. And so
that is a badass gun, I'll have to admit.
And they really stuck by that. Even, you know, with something like Super Smash Brothers Brawl, which just came out, Samus is still in it, and you can get the Zero Suit Samus, which is just her.
Now, the other thing I like about the Metroid series is the feeling of claustrophobic. You're in a small area, you're underground for the most part, and it just does feel so claustrophobic. Now, this one...
Yeah, it does. It's very
atmospheric.
atmospheric.
Really gave it a little bit more scale as you're on the top of the planet whenever things go down.
Oh, and the infamous escape.
Yes, the escape, which is a trademark of the Metroid series. A wonderful trademark.
Yeah, now this is awesome because you're, you know, trying to beat the game here, but it's not simply beat the boss and you're done, watch the end credits. You've still got to do
You got to get away.
something. You've got to, yeah, you got to keep moving here. And again, that feeling of claustrophobia, of impending doom.
And they took it
you know,
even further in games after this. Metroid Zero Mission. Now, see, this is a labyrinth, and I gotta find the right way out. But in Metroid Zero Mission, after you beat Mother Brain in that game, you still have to play through an entire level without your suit, where the Zero Suit comes from. But the escapes became more intense. Here's a wonderful thing.
Oh, yeah.
What is that called whenever you jump on the side?
The spider... Is it the spider wall or the spider?
I can't remember.
No, that was the spider ball from Prime. What am I thinking here?
Let's see if we can escape. We might die in this.
You might want to go back that way and try it. Oh, no, there you go.
And that's another great thing about Metroid, is labyrinth. Now, you won't see the backtracking in this video, but in the game itself, you have to do so much backtracking through different parts of the level. Where am I going?
There was an up there.
Was
Try
there?
shooting up. Can you go through that?
yeah,
No. Oh, well. Go around.
I thought it was a really interesting design because basically you have the whole world map and you can explore each area, but you do have to come back to them as you gain new abilities.
And they did that excellent with the GameCube version of Metroid Prime. You know, the backtracking in that game is just wonderful and creepy because there's portions of the game you really don't want to play again because they're really unsettling.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
これがメトロイド。
まだ幼虫だ。しかしこのエネルギーは人類の役に立つかもしれん。
あ、ベビーメトロイドが奪われる。
緊急指令。スペースハンターサムス・アラン。さらわれたベビーメトロイドを奪い返す。
スーパーファミコンソフトスーパーメトロイド。とてつもない地下要塞が待ち受けている。
New Gen Gamers.com